My name is Ronan Healy. I'm the Programme Manager for National Heritage Week for the Heritage Council. And this morning's session for myself is going to be a guide to National Heritage Week 2025. So a little bit about the theme and also a bit about what you might expect to do and happen for National Heritage Week this year and how we can support you in running a National Heritage Week event. So this is the quick schedule of what I'm going to be speaking about here today. So to get into it first, I'm sure you're all aware of what National Heritage Week is, if you're here, I hope. But if you're not aware, we claim to be one of Ireland's largest festivals. We estimate we had about 295,000 people attend the National Heritage Week event last year, so quite big. It takes place over 9 days. It's an all-island event, so we had last year we had about 2,300 events across 28 counties across the island. And as you're aware, heritageweek.ie is the home of National Heritage Week. This year, we're celebrating National Heritage Week from the 16th to 24th of August. And that takes place, I just had a typo there, so it should be 2025. And the theme this year is exploring our foundations. So a little bit more on this theme. So our team comes from Europe each year. So there's basically one of me in each country across Europe, and we come together each year and we decide the theme for the following year. So the European theme here this year is actually architectural heritage, but we in the Heritage Council felt it wasn't incorporating enough in terms of our remit for natural, built and cultural heritage. So hence the theme of exploring our foundations. And the idea behind any theme is to give you inspiration for what you want to do in terms of events. So you're don't be restricted by the theme, but it's good to provide yourself with inspiration in terms of what you might do. So we invite yourselves as a potential event organisers to think about this theme in terms through our built heritage, our cultural heritage in terms of traditions, but also our natural heritage as well. So to succinct it into a short sentence, this year's theme is all about the blocks of heritage. So uncovering the structures that surround us, but also the cultural and natural elements that have impacted us and our community. And you'll have many speakers here today to talk about that. So in terms of how that might relate to our remit of built natural and cultural heritage, in terms of the theme, we're talking about architecture. So we're talking about religious buildings, we're talking about commercial buildings, industrial and vernacular architecture. We're also talking about monuments, and we're also talking about materials. So the materials that make up these structures, so the stone, brick, wood, glass, etc., that gives insight into local landscape. And in terms of cultural heritage, we're talking about traditional skills, the stonemasons, plasterers, craft makers, thatchers, etc., that are part of our intangible cultural heritage, and also on a wider context, the traditions. So the stories, pastimes, the practices that are passed down between generations. And in terms of natural heritage, it's all about the homes and habitats and structures in nature, our links to the natural world, and how we interact with our natural world in terms of sharing spaces. So in terms of event ideas, we have the theme of the course of exploring our foundations, and you'll see a handbook that's in every bag here that you have beside your chair today. And that handbook includes 101 very creative event ideas. So that's across the team, but it's also across culture and natural heritage. There's ideas for family events, for local events, and many more. So if you do want some inspiration, you can find that in the handbook in your bag today. But to give you some suggestions for ideas, just on a wider context, the best way to organise an event, obviously, is to figure out what you want to do first and who's your audience. A good way of thinking about organised event is think about who you're going to have speak at the event. So if it is a speaking event, and think about people in your community. You don't have to go far to find someone who's an expert in a particular topic. So I would encourage you to think about people in the community who could do something in your village, your town, your suburb, who you've interacted with before and might have some expertise in some area. So that can be a historian, an archaeologist, a biologist, it can be a botanist, but it could be a craft maker or something else. And I'll just give you an example here. This is an event that was shortlisted about 2 years ago. It took place in Athenry Castle in County Galway. And they recruited a local lady who does children events. And she did the biodiversity art and craft workshop in Athenry Castle. So the children attended this workshop inside the castle and did this event. So again, a site and a person you wouldn't put together naturally, but they came together for an event, and that was all because the staff in Athenry Castle knew this person and invited her to run an event there. In terms of the type of events, there's plenty of ideas, and just give you a few here in terms of family tree of buildings, archaeology dig open days, but also you can go do the opposite and do something like drone tours or skyline tours as well. In terms of the type of events, there's no limit. So you can do talks, guided walks, you know yourself if you've done events before, nature walks. Workshops and demonstrations we encourage because people love to get their hands on things. They love to learn while doing, and it's the best way to encourage people to learn about a topic or subject. So we always encourage you to have workshops and demonstrations, although there's challenges to doing them, and I understand that, but definitely we find that when we get feedback from audience, they always find the workshops and demonstrations the best ones, the ones they like the most. In terms of ideas for built heritage, as I mentioned, vernacular buildings, there's a few ideas here in terms of traditional skills, hidden gems you can see here, and there's lots of associations in Ireland that our remit covers built heritage in terms of the team exploring our foundations, and that's just a link to a few there, but there's so many you can choose from. So there's plenty of associations like that. If you wanted to get in touch with, if you're thinking about, for example, doing a dry stone walling event, get in touch with the association, ask them if they have a local expert in your area. It's a great way to figure out what you want to do, and you'd be surprised as what network or what connections you have in your area. In terms of cultural heritage, a few ideas. We have open mic night, living library, or the modern children's folklore collection you could do. I'm sure you're all aware of the folklore collection. It's done in the 1930s, but an idea would maybe to do a modern version of that. And again, there's some inspiration there in terms of organisations and community or organisations to get in touch with. And in terms of natural heritage, a few suggestions here in terms of water heritage in case of sourcing river, wildlife in our buildings, how wildlife link in between the link between our natural and built heritage, and also ecology in terms of and geology in terms of rock and soil discovery day, and that's all part of our natural heritage as well. We do have digital projects as part of our remit in terms of National Heritage Week. So this is a big part, obviously, during COVID, and has become lesser over the number of years after COVID, but it's still taking place. So if you, for whatever reason, can't do an in-person event, there's always the option of doing a digital project, and that just gives you more time in terms of running an event. So you can either do something like a podcast or record a video or create an online map, and you can upload that as a digital project on the National Heritage Week website. And just give you an example here, this is a lady who actually lives from Cavan, but she lives in Germany, and I don't know if anyone can guess what these point to. Anyone any idea? These are handball alleys. So she's going around the country mapping every handball alley in the country. So she has I can share the website later, but she has a link into and information on every handball alley in the country, and she uploaded that as a digital project last year, and she's continuing it on her own as well. So she loves handball alleys. So there you go. So if you're looking for a handball alley, this map is very handy. In terms of team days, we have 2 team days. We have Wild Child Day, so that's on the second Saturday of National Heritage Week, and the focus there is to encourage children to get out and discover the flora and fauna of their locality. So it's focused on simple events in your community that you can host in terms of natural heritage. So we do a lot of events in terms of river walks, things like that, or even just catching bugs and bug collection, seeing what you can find. Our other Heritage Day is the team day is Water Heritage Day. If you're local, you might recognize this. This is just the Grand Canal here. And this is an event hosted by the Waterways Ireland and Inland Waterways Association and the Tristan boats as well last year. They had an event here on the Grand Canal. So that's run in support with the local authorities water programme, who are here today. Ruth is here, so do say hello to her. And it's a great opportunity to explore the heritage of our waterways, so our rivers, canals, lakes, etc. Now some policy guidelines. So every project that an event that's submitted on heritageweek.ie, we ask them to meet at least one of the following criteria. So you maximise community engagement and include all age groups. So we try deliberately set the barrier very low for Heritage Week events. So we ask every organiser just to either meet at least one of the following criteria, ideally two. Then we also have our stated objectives. So we ask organisers to support these objectives. Now, in terms of heritage value, awareness and education value are important, and also interpretation capacity, so that you provide a fair and balanced view of in terms of if you're interpreting events in your locality and history. In terms of promoting the team, we do encourage organisers to promote the team of National Heritage Week this year, but it's not necessary. If you do plan an event and it's not related to the team, that's completely fine. It's completely understandable. So who can get involved? So people like yourselves, so who is that? So we talk about individuals, families, communities, organisations, including cultural institutions, NGOs, businesses can get involved, state bodies can get involved. Really, there's the whole plethora of society can get involved. So to put it very simply, everyone. So anyone can organise a National Heritage Week event. Once you meet the remit of our criteria, it's perfectly fine to be an organiser for Heritage Week this year. In terms of thinking about your event, you might consider some of the following questions. What is the goal of your event? What aspect of your heritage does it focus on? If you are a new event organiser, it's always a good idea to start small and keep it simple. So a guided walk, a talk might be the easiest way to start. Think about what you want your attendees to learn, to experience, enjoy. What size audience? How are you going to manage the audience? Also think about in terms of making your event as welcoming as possible in terms of diverse audiences. Think about all the people in your community. How can everyone come? So obviously Heritage Week, like myself, I'm a heritage buff, so I love Heritage Week stuff, and it's, I get very excited every year. But there's people that come along to heritage events that will have no idea of their local community's history and heritage. So you have to consider those people when you're starting off an event. Think of people that, you might be deeply involved in community projects and with a site in your locality, and some people turn up and they've never even walked that site before. So think about those people in terms of your event. So in terms of sharing your knowledge about your site or your event to them. Also think about sustainability as well, and I'll mention that later. In terms of digital projects, lots of ideas. So PowerPoint presentations, as I said, video, podcast. There's also think of material for community facilities, online lectures and talks as well. I just give you an example here as well. This is Fedamore School in County Limerick, and they entered the European Young Heritage Makers competition, which is run in conjunction with the EU. So that's a competition for young children in school to create an event or a video around the theme of Heritage Week. So this is from 2024. This is a 6-pupil school, so there's only 6 kids in the class, and they created a video. As you can see there, the old school projector, and they used puppets on the screen, and they also made a song and recorded audio outside the school. They entered that, and they became the Irish entry to the European competition, and they're recognised at the European level then for their entry. So they just created a 2-minute video using just little stick puppets on the screen you can see on there to create a short video all about the Irish elk. So hence the images behind you there. So very simple idea. So it goes to show you don't need complicated equipment to record or make a digital project. It can be a very simple process, and it goes to show you there. So 6 school kids did that, so the bar is high. So in terms of support for yourselves then, So National Heritage Week organisers can be supported by lots of different resources. So ideas and know-how are available on heritageweek.ie. So there'll be lots of blog posts coming up to the event itself in the middle of August. We also have lots of online resources. So we've lots of templates for posters, newsletters, PowerPoint slides, and you can see some examples here on the right-hand side. So if you're promoting your event online, there's lots of material there in terms of the resources. There's also old school offline material in terms of poster templates and things like that you can download and you can put up around your locality. We have in-person and online training events, so you're aware of that because you're here today. We also have staff available that can be contacted by email or phone, and that's our contact details as well. Also, who are not in this slide is your local authority. Now, Melanie McQuaid is going to speak about that later today, but your local heritage officer, your local biodiversity officer are obviously a great resource in terms of knowledge, and they can support you in terms of putting an event together. We work on a national level, but if you're on a local level, if you're in a particular local authority area, they're the guys and girls with expertise on the ground, so they'll be able to help you. In terms of materials then, we've lots of materials for event organisers. So if you've previously organised events, you might have got some of these materials already. If you're new to National Heritage Week, they are distributed through our local Heritage and Biodiversity Officer network, so contact your local authority. But we've flags, banners, pencils, high-vis vests, bunting as well. And they're multi-year use, so they're not dated. So the idea is that if you do get your hands on them, you can store them for multi-year use. We also have a few checklists and guides. So I mentioned this earlier, but we've a sustainability events checklist and a guide. We have an inclusivity checklist, which will be published in the next 2 weeks. We have the handbook that you have in your bag today. We also have, which will be published later in August, a self-assessment checklist for event organisers. So this is just there for anyone that might be a grant recipient, that you might have to do a report. And the idea behind this template is basically help you to fill out a report. It's also for yourselves, even if you're not a grant recipient, if you want to just go back over your event, if you're planning to do a similar event the following year, it's nice to do a checklist for yourselves in terms of do a self-assessment, and you can dig it out from the year before and see what things do I need to change, where did it work, where didn't it work. The website itself then, heritageweek.ie, so that's where you have to submit your event. So there's no other way to register a Heritage Week event. So if it's not registered in heritageweek.ie, it's not an official Heritage Week event. So make sure you do register in heritageweek.ie. The website is already open for submissions, so it's open from the 1st of May. The organisers portal, so you register as an organiser and then you can create events. So we've had updates to it this year, so it should be quite simple process. You just fill in all the details. You have to include an image and your information and contact information. The event listings can be editable. I'm not going to try a third time. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to edit, yes, your date, location, or time, you can now edit. So you can, instead of what you might have done before, is you might have contacted us by email saying, I've changed the time or location's changed. Now you can go back into your organizer portal and you can edit yourself. So you can change those things. The one thing you can't edit is the description of your event. So you will have to contact us if you want to change the description. But if you, for any reason, dates and times change, which they often do, you can edit that yourself. I want to just, before I finish, highlight a new initiative that we're running this year. So this is Heritage Open Doors. So what is it? It's making new and interesting sites available to visitors for National Heritage 2025. So we ran a pilot programme in Offaly and Donegal last year, where a number of heritage buildings opened. So that included the courthouse here in Tullamore, a few private residents, including Charleville Castle opened, and in Donegal it was a mixture of museums and traditional cottages opened their doors. So the whole idea is these properties open their doors for National Heritage Week. So these are historic properties, so they can be everything from hotels to private dwellings, and they give people access. They open the doors to public, so public get access to the buildings. So maybe parts of the building that are not already accessible, or the whole building itself. We want to encourage people to interact with their built heritage, And that's the idea behind this. So to basically for people to open their doors for National Heritage Week. Finally, just a quick thing on promotion. The hashtag is Heritage Week 2025 if you're using Instagram or X. Terminology, just please refer to it as National Heritage Week. Even I say Heritage Week myself, but officially we're called National Heritage Week. So if you're doing any branding or interaction with local media, it's National Heritage Week, and this is the core message as well. A quick word then, just mention our partners. So we have a number of partners. We have the OPW, the Local Authorities Water Programme I mentioned already, the Irish Landmark Trust. We also have Fáilte Ireland, and we have media partners RTE and the Irish Times. They all contribute to National Heritage Week in different ways. So, for example, the OPW are opening all their sites for free, the fee-paying sites for the first weekend of National Heritage Week. The Irish Landmark Trust are doing the same. They manage properties across the country. And our media partners will be helping us in terms of promoting National Heritage Week across the event. The awards then. So after National Heritage Week is over, I'm sure you think you're all done, but the awards are an important part of recognising people like yourselves in terms of what you do, in terms of managing, promoting National Heritage Week. So we open up for submissions at the end of August, and you can enter the National Heritage Week's awards. So anyone that hosts a National Heritage event can enter the awards. These are the categories for 2025. So there's a number of different categories you can enter under, and I definitely would encourage you to enter. We have some people speaking here today, including Marta, who's won the awards. So obviously it's very beneficial for you in terms of, as an event organisers, you get recognition nationally, but also you get lots of local recognition as well from your local authority, local press, and it's a great way for your project, if you're an ongoing project, to get recognition. So definitely I would encourage you to enter. So finally, I'll end with the key dates. So the website, as mentioned, is opened already. Our media campaign, our main media campaign will start from the middle of July, so you'll hear that on national radio, local radio. Then you're aware of the dates of National Heritage Week itself. And then in terms of the awards, they open at the end of August, just after National Heritage Week finishes. And then the entries close September, and we have the awards ceremony in October this year. So there are your key dates. This is my contact details. So that's my number there. It does work, so do contact me if you want, if you have any questions. And this is our contact email address. So if you have any questions at all about National Heritage Week, please do get in touch. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.